Welcome back to my channel. I've been getting a lot of comments on my interior architecture, interior design portfolio video about how I'm finding my course and what a day in the life of an interior architecture student is like. So I thought I would take you guys along with me on a day at university. Before we begin, I just want to apologize for the way I look. I am actually such a mess right now because I have a cold. I just came back from a full day at uni and I've literally been sneezing so much I look like I'm crying. So please excuse that and let's just get into the video. Before I take you guys through my day, I kind of want to talk about how my course is structured and all the modules we have, just so you get a general idea of what we're studying and what we're doing as interior architecture students. So I'm in my first year of interior architecture and we have 3 modules. The first one is studies in design, where we basically study design processes. We learn how to design things. We draw, we measure, we create, we play with different design strategies. Our first project for this module was called the light box, where we basically had to make a box. We had a light adjective, so I had luminous, and we had to play with the interior of that box in a way that symbolizes our light adjective. And that was probably my favorite project we've had on this course. That was also my first project, so that's why when I started my course I was very determined and I was very happy with everything. Our second project for this module was called the precedent. We basically took an existing building and tore it apart to its structure to figure out how it works, how it holds everything together, and we had to draw that to scale. We had to make a model of it. The last project, which is the one we're working at now, we had to go on a site visit to a museum. We were designated a certain space in the museum that we had to measure and draw to scale. We are also supposed to design an installation, like an object to go into the museum that will benefit the museum and also fit in the museum. Our second module, which is called technical studies, is basically the more technical part of this course, I suppose. This course overall is very technical and I will be talking about this probably at the end of the video just to give you an overview. But we talk about structure, how buildings are made, what buildings are made out of, how forces act on buildings, and all of that, everything you can think of to figure out how a building actually works. So for the projects for this module, first we went on a site visit and we had to visit different buildings and sketch them up, show how the forces act on their elements, just like basically show the structure and show how the building works in a drawing. For our second bigger project, I guess, we had to make a bridge out of wood and string. We were only given a certain amount of materials per group and we had to make a strong bridge, a bridge that also looks good, and at the end, after everyone finished their bridges, we had to test them to see which one was the best, which one held the most weight. And we also had to do sketches of it and all of that. And right now we are studying materials, so we did wood, glass, and we did metal today. For our third module, which is called cultural context, it's basically just the history of architecture and is taught in lectures. We have 2 1-hour lectures every Tuesday. I hate history. I've always hated history, so these lectures are very boring for me, but we are given exercises, just questions to answer based on some set readings that they give to us or based on site visits. It's actually not that hard, maybe, if you do the set reading, but I'm so lazy to do the set reading. I still haven't done the exercises. I really need to start doing that. So now that you guys have a general overview of my course, let me get into how today was and what we did more in detail. Just as a general overview, I go to uni 3 days a week from 10 to 5 p.m. For technical studies today, we talked about metal. They basically laid out different types of metal on our tables and we were supposed to go through them and guess what they were. I don't actually know how we were supposed to know what they were because they never actually told us, they never taught us, so I don't know how we were supposed to know, but at the end of the day we all like found out what every metal was. We also had a little presentation. They showed us some videos and we also took some notes. We're supposed to take the notes and actually put them in our log, in our portfolio for the module. We finished material study quite early, so we moved on to our installation for the museum that I talked about that we have to design. Our task for today was to study the ergonomics of our object, so basically how people use it, how people move in it, how much space people need, and how to make it as comfortable as possible. To do that, we had to make drawings to illustrate how people would use our installation, and they told us to take photos of actual real life people and then draw like over them. My friend needed someone to pull and push something, so she used me as her model and I used her as my model. After that, we had quite a lot of time because we finished early even after all of the ergonomics study. So we had a 2-hour lunch break instead of 1, and we just went to the library because library is always cozier than the lunch area and we always find some nice places to sit in. So we just went to the library, we had our lunch, and I watched an episode of Busted on Netflix. It's actually so funny. I recommend it to all of you guys. After our lunch break come our 2 lectures. They were actually kind of long today. We usually finish earlier, but we finished right on time today, which never ever happens. So yeah, imagine we had to sit there for the whole time. Honestly, there's always someone who falls asleep in these lectures. Like, it always happens. Everyone falls asleep. After the lectures, we have 1 hour of tutorials, but we're split into groups from 1 to I think 14. And 1 week it's groups 1 to 7, and then the other week is group 8 to 14. So I wasn't in this week, but I will have a tutorial next week. I also go to the Korean Culture Society at my university, and they had an event today at 5:30 p.m. But since I finished a bit earlier, I just went to the library and randomly did my makeup because I had nothing else to do. My laptop ran out of battery too, so I just did my makeup because I was so bored. And then I just took a bus to my other uni campus that the society was being held at, and I had lots of fun with my friends. It was actually so fun. I love going to my society events.
Yes.
I'm sorry, but that's what. Can I put you on my YouTube channel?
Oh yeah, of course.
Tag you. I'll put your Instagram. And after that, I just came home, had some dinner, spent some time with my flatmate, and here I am. Now that I actually got you guys through a whole day of what being an interior architecture student is like, I kind of want to talk about how I'm finding the course and what to expect if you want to come and like study this course, because some people on my portfolio video were asking about it. To be quite honest with you guys, I don't actually enjoy this course at all. It is a very technical course. If you are expecting something creative, if you're expecting to be creatively challenged, to design your own things, to design interiors, that doesn't happen, especially during first year. I feel like it's definitely my fault for not doing enough research on the course, but I'm here to tell you guys like what to expect, just so you don't make the same mistake that I did. So if you're looking for something creative, if you want to design your own things, if you're looking for diversity, if you like being very artsy, then definitely look into different areas of design. Maybe interior design, interior decoration. On the other side, if you're more into the technical side of things, then maybe interior architecture is for you. It definitely still allows you to be creative, but you're not given that much freedom. You're very limited with your projects and what you can actually do. I feel like when we have a presentation and we pin up all our works, they all look the same. There's no diversity. And me being a person who likes being creative and artsy and giving meaning to my works, it's just not something that I enjoy doing, which is why I'm considering changing course. But that's a whole another story that I might talk about in the future. The point of this video was for you guys to understand what interior architecture is all about and make an opinion, see if you actually want to study it or not. Definitely do a lot of research when choosing the subject you want to study at university, because you gotta love what you're studying to be able to give it back to the people around you, to give it back to the world, to actually make something out of it. So yeah, I hope this video helped you make a general idea of what a day in the life of an interior architecture student is like. If you have any more questions, please don't be afraid to leave them down in the comments or just hit me up on my Instagram. A lot of people have been asking me questions about the portfolios on Instagram, and it just makes me really happy when people are actually like interested in my opinion. So yeah, don't hesitate to ask me questions. I'm more than happy to help you.
Like this video and subscribe and hit the notification bell.
Yes!
해야 할 일은 미뤄뒀지 hey beauty 날 안아주는 건